Welcome, everybody. You are here on Day 3, NXL in Tampa Bay, Florida. We are outside Raymond James Stadium. We're about to watch Los Angeles Collision take on the KC Missouri All-Stars here in the semi-pro division. On the backside of this match, you're going to watch TIKIS TOTEM take on the New Jersey JESTERS. Collision on your left in the blue jersey, Missouri on your right in the black and red trim. Collision rolling the dice, going for snake off the break. It works. At the same time, Missouri's going to be losing two of their players immediately. One down for Collision, so 4-on-3 advantage. Positional advantage to Collision, too. They've got the snake. They've got the snake tower. All-Stars on their back foot. They do pick up a kill, so we're back to 3-3. Collision lose containment, allow him All-Star to move up. However, both snakes are hot. He's about to get blown up. That's a trade. Unfortunately, that is going to be a major for Collision. No, I'm sorry. Now they're pointing at All-Stars. All-Stars are going to take the major for a spin. If they're lucky, they have just enough bodies to fill it. If they're not, they're going to be starting down a body. Clock continues to roll, so they should have had enough bodies to fulfill it. Now they stop the clock. That may be a bad news for All-Stars on the first point of this semifinal Sunday. All right, great news for All-Stars. They do have enough bodies to fulfill that penalty. They will not have to start down an additional body on top of the insult of losing that first point. Second part of this match, you're going to be watching TIKIS TOTEMs on your left against New Jersey JESTERS on the right. JESTERS losing a heartbreaker yesterday against New York Wrecking Crew. They're back, though. Immediate loss up the center for TOTEMs. 5 alive for JESTERS. And there's going to be a minor to add insult to injury for TOTEMs. They're going to take a walk down to 3 bodies already. No snake presence left, and even worse, JESTERS are now sliding up the snake to S2. TOTEM trying to spread wide. That is not a great idea. Runs right through a gun from the back corner. There is a trade, though, so that we do drop a player for the JESTERS. TIKIS TOTEM trying to make something happen with the Dorito side. It's not going to work. He's going to take one to the face. That's it. Bispo closing it out. Number 17 here for the JESTERS up on the snake. All right, Kansas City, Missouri All-Stars on your left, Collision on your right. Both teams pushing up the middle to those snake towers, all important. We are in the snake now for All-Stars. All-Stars at S2, Collision at S1, the mini brick. That snake tower for All-Stars is going to lock onto that snake brick. His job is to not allow any chance for the Collision player to get any further forward than that snake. Tactical retreat by All-Star facing the same problem. That tower looking down into the snake forced him backwards. He's going to drop, wrap, try to see if he can put paint on either the tower or that mini temple. Five alive collision. Five alive All-Stars. All-Stars leave the home, starting to spread wide to that Dorito side. First player peeling off, though. Kansas City loses their Dorito player. So 5-4 advantage for collision. Mirrored up in the snake. Essentially, we are looking at who loses the first gunfight over here in the snake. All-Stars are going to keep pushing that Dorito side. The Dorito side of this field is fairly easy to move bump to bump. There's not a lot of killing to be done from these Doritos until you get to the D50. Then the world opens up for you. So both teams have a snake presence. Both teams have that all-important snake tower to stop the snake push. And it really will come down to who loses the first gunfight over here on the snake side. That's Castro attempting a run through. He's going to get at least a trade, body for body. That leaves nothing in the snake. Oh, an attempt to refill the snake by All-Stars goes wrong immediately. Down to just the Dorito and the snake tower for All-Stars. Already down a point. Collision offensive options right now probably come down to that D2 moving forward, trying to get to the D50, and perhaps number 00 coming off of his assignment here in the mini temple and diving into the snake. Instead, we're going to have a push up the middle, a very cautious push. That is dangerous open play territory for Jordan Boyer. For All-Stars, he's going to attempt to drop back. I think he got it clean into that mini temple. If I have any advice, please do not go to that mini Dorito in the corner as a defensive stand. Collision up to the 50, standing wedge here on the snake side. All-Stars pushing up to D3. Yeah, nice push. That little bump allowed him to blow up the backside of that collision player at the middle. Yeah, that is Jordan Boyer taking a walk. Boyum. Goodwin now up to the 50. There's an All-Star snake player just waiting for him, though. I don't think either player is aware of their other's presence. Now they know. Nice move. Ramirez gets him clean. He's going to wrap the snake, finish it off. Great counter-punching. Credit to All-Stars to not giving up on pushing the matter. Instead of just locking up lanes and trying to shut it down, they kept attacking, almost made it work in a down body situation. Unfortunately, they're going to go down 2 points. Jesters taking the field, heading towards the left side. Coached by Tim Trentacosta. Long time organization in this sport. Tiki's Totem down a point. Lots and lots of clock. We're at 14.5, so that's not an issue yet. We have 5 alive for the Jesters. We have 4, now 3 alive for Tiki's Totem. They lose their Dorito side and up the middle. They attempt to spread. Looks like they're going to be able to do at least that. They're still in a bit of a pocket play, spread across the back line. Mini Temple getting another check. He's called clean. So big advantage here for Jesters. Up 2 bodies already. Great off-the-break shooting. Jesters already up that D50. However, he loses the gun battle. 5-3 advantage. That's Alex Bispo again up here at the Snake Brick. We're now down to two Tiki's Totem player. Now one, he chooses to occupy what is the worst defensive bunkers on the field. That mini Dorito is just too small to try to live in a down gun situation. This is not going to end well. I hope he proves me wrong. He does not, and that's going to be it. It's going to be a walk-in buzzer push here for Jesters. They're going to go up 2-0 with about 13 on the clock. The tone of that point was set with the off-the-break shooting from the Jesters. Picking up 2 kills, 1 up the middle, 1 on the Dorito side, immediately put them on the offensive. All right, collision on your left, down a 2-point hole. Sorry, up 2 points. Kansas City's the one down. First player, they're going to double up that mini Temple. Obviously, they're getting ready to push the Snake. I don't think it's going to work. There it is. He's going to take a walk. Temporary advantage, Kansas City All-Stars. I believe All-Stars might be leaving the Dorito side. We're at 3-3. Kansas City All-Stars have both a positional advantage and now a body advantage. Last 2 players for collision stuck in that corner. Mini Temple desperate, trying to hold back this push. And that Dorito's going to get hit on his back. There it is. He's going to take a walk. Further advantage for All-Stars. 3-1, 3-0. All-Stars needed that. Putting him back into this game 2-1. Going down 3-0 would have been extremely difficult to come back for with about 8.5 on the clock. Jesters up 2-0 on Tiki's Totem. Jesters come in winning, getting in on a 2-2 record yesterday. Totem coming in with a 4-0 record yesterday. Tiki's Totem did not expect to be in this position this early in the semifinals. To be fair to Jesters, one of their losses to one of the powerhouses of this league, the New York Wrecking Crew. It was a hell of a game. If you get a chance, go back and watch it after today.
20 seconds.
Replays of these matches will be available on the ComSports YouTube channel during this coming week, weeks ahead. Totem looking for a spark. They're going to roll the dice into the Snake on the break. 5 alive both sides. They are alive into the snake. Both teams into the snake now. That's a change from yesterday. Teams were having a very difficult time getting into the snake off the breakout. So far this morning, that seems to have changed. Tiki now spreading out to that back corner. Mini Temple on the Dorito side, pushing up to D3. First Totem player dropping. Jester player dropping from that snake tower. We're about to see a wraparound and a blow up. Yeah, there it is. Bispo doing damage over here. Number 17 for the Jesters. Unfortunately, he's losing players behind him. TOTEM attempts to fill in the snake. He does. Stem the bleeding. He cannot stop Bispo from looking cross, though. Great shooting by Bispo. The field is flipped sideways at this point. We've got Totems at the Dorito 50. Bispo over here on the snake 50. Totem attempting to cross the 50. They're into the other team's D2. We're looking at a one-on-one in the semifinals. Bispo's going to choose to run for the buzzer. Well, he hasn't yet, but you can tell that's what he's thinking about. Oh, no, he takes one. Great work by Totem, hitting the buzzer. Assuming he's clean, that's going to bring it back to a 1-2, similar to the other match. A 0-3 deficit in the semifinals is a very difficult thing to come back for. So good fight by TIKIS Totem. Dramatic ending to that with a one-on-one. All-Stars in your left, picking up that point to give themselves some hope here in this match. 1-2 is a much, much easier deficit to work out. All-Star Snake Tower is convinced he shot one of the players on the breakout from collision. Fortunately for him, he's going to lose a teammate on the Dorito side. All-Stars down 4-5. Sliding up to that middle, All-Stars taking a chance on that stand-up wedge. Collision player's dropping. It does not work out. He's going to take a walk. It's a real risk-reward pushing up the middle here. There's a lot of work you can do from it, but once they find you, you're not in a very defensible position. Garrity here working this snake 50. He's taking pressure. It's a bounce shot coming in, and it's going to work. What a timely bounce shot. All-Stars sliding into the snake corner. Now into the snake. All-Stars down to 2 players. They got D2, Snake 1, Mini Brick. Collision has at least figured out the count. They're down to just his Snake Brick. And they're going to choose to towel out of it to save the clock. They're going to be about 6 minutes, 47 seconds with a 2-point deficit for All-Stars. I've seen a lot of attempts at bounce shot this week, and that's the first time that I've seen it work with my own eyes. Great shot. Jesters breaking out on your left. They've got a 1-point lead, which is not much with 11 minutes and 40 seconds on the clock. TIKIS Totem into the snake. Jester losing their best threat to get into the snake, which is that mini temple over here on the snake side. So advantage right now for TIKIS Totem, both in position and bodies. Another play. The Jesters lose their snake tower, which is the best position they had to slow down the snake push. It's now on Totem, both 50s. Jesters lose another player over that Dorito side. Now they lose their home. This point is completely falling apart. This mini temple is not going to be enough to stop this. Totem's going to swarm this and finish it out. There it is. Last Jester player taking a walk. This is going to be a walk-in buzzer push. Jesters have no reason to towel out. They might as well see if we can get a few more seconds off the clock. Devin almost getting peeled off by his own team there at the end of the field. He's going to hit the buzzer. Devin's going to request the assistance of somebody that might be have a less of a chance of a hidden hit to hit the buzzer for him. There's a lot on their line, and if you've been under a gunfight in this, you're probably better off looking for one of your back players that probably is not likely to have a hidden hit on him somewhere that he doesn't know about. So, thanks again for joining us at the 2025 Tampa Bay Open here in Tampa, Florida. We are under the shadow of Raymond James Stadium, home of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's an incredible location that the NXL managed to negotiate for this first event of the 2025 season. Also thanks to Alabama Paintball with multiple locations. If you're in that area, check them out. They got a lot to offer if you've got a group and you want to go play some paintball. Thanks also to Ballsack, ball-sack.com. Go check out their pod filler. Collision on the left. They got a 3-1 advantage. 6:47 on the clock. Cannot go into clock kill mode quite yet. Looks like 5 alive for both teams. ALLSTARS up the middle of this snake tower. Snake insert. They're now pushing the Dorito side. Oh, they're going to lose. Five alive for Collision. ALLSTARS up into that stand-up wedge over at the 50 near the Dorito side. That puts this snake tower in danger here for Collision. He doesn't know it, but his back. He's at risk from that standing wedge at the 50. Kansas City now pushing up the middle. Neither team doing any work over here in the snake. They're choosing to work up the middle. There they are, doubled up at those standing wedges in the middle for Kansas City ALLSTARS. Seeing a little bit of antsy legs over here in the mini temple. He's getting ready to try to bounce into the snake for the ALLSTARS. Just got to be confident that he can push that snake tower in, and then he'll make his dive. Collision player walking off from that home. The pressure up the middle starting to show. Dorito 50 has crossed into their territory. Now he's going to make a run for it, taking out. Oh, no, that's going to be a major. That's going to be a major against ALLSTARS. Big run through, but he was hit before he got there. That's going to result to 2 players being pulled, likely both the snake. Yeah, both the snake is going to be pulled by the ALLSTARS. There's an attempt at a run through. This is a great risk to take when you're down bodies. Does it work? He's going to get a check. No, he did not quite hit the buzzer. Now he hits the buzzer. He's going to get a check out. That was a great reactionary run through there by the All-Star player number 3. If it works, and it worked. Took advantage of the chaos of a major on his own team. Took the initiative, ran through. When you have a giant setback like a major, there's a window of opportunity sometimes. The other team is trying to figure out the situation. He took advantage of it, sprinted through the middle, finished that one off. Great job. Hero of the point. All right, after this, you're going to see Sacramento DMG take on Texas Demo, and Shut Up We're Trying taking on Denver Altitude. Then we're going to move into the semi-pro quarterfinals. We're waiting to see the outcome of some of these first games to figure out who the opponents are going to be for for TPP Crew and New York Wrecking Crew
20 seconds.
and Wildside Distortion. Then we'll move into our WNXL semifinals game here at 1:15. And then we will wrap up our broadcast day with some of the finals and semifinals from the other divisions. All right, all knotted up, 10 minutes on the clock. Totem and Jesters both doubled up a home. First Totem peeling off from that Dorito side, though, so advantage Jesters. Neither team in the snake quite yet. Another Totem player losing. That means the Dorito side is open for the Jesters to take advantage of. However, as I say that, they lose one of their players over on that Dorito side. Totem in a bit of a pocket here. They have no presence on the Dorito side. They are in the snake tower for Totem, is playing in this little shadow zone that's about 10 feet back from that snake tower. If you're watching from home, it looks incredibly risky to just be sitting out there in the open, but the vision blocking lanes and some other bunkers creates a bit of a safety pocket. We're at 9 minutes. For either team that wins or loses, it's still plenty of time to affect the match. This isn't the point that decides it all. Certainly don't want to lose it. Good news for the Jesters. They are now into the snake. Snake 2. Totem player, there it is. Makes his push into the snake himself. Mini brick at snake 1. I believe that's Devin. Devin's going to move up to snake 2. Little mini wing. Jester's going to lose 2 players. That leaves this snake and the snake tower trying to do it on their own. Advantage now to Totem. Totem home, locked up on something over there in Dorito side. We might be to 3-on-3. This is falling apart now for the Jesters. This snake player is about to get overwhelmed, and there it is. Devin's going to finish it out. Good counter by Tiki. Tiki started that game in a bit of a hole. They managed to sit in, dig in, pull some bodies, close it out. Well done. Again, for the Jesters, there's still a lot of time on the clock, although I would suggest toweling out of it. There it is. Okay. He's going to hit the buzzer. They're going to go up by 1 point, 7.5 on the clock. With only a 1 point differential is certainly not a safe lead. All-Stars on your left in the black and red trim. Collision on your right with the blue. Collision has a 1-point lead. 4.5 on the clock. For the All-Stars, if you lose this point, there's not going to be a lot of time left to come up with 2 points. So this is a little bit of a do-or-die point for All-Stars. All-Stars lose their first player, Snake Tower. Very important for controlling this snake side. 5-4 advantage for Collision. Collision's going to lose their Snake Tower now. All-Stars more aggressive into the snake, pushing up. We're now under 4 minutes. Oh. They lose their snake player. That just leaves Snake Mini Temple, Dorito Side Mini Temple, and D1 for All-Stars. So we have a 3-on-3, I believe. Snake presence for Collision at the 50. He's going to turn the corner. All-Star takes the snake corner. Gives him some better angles, but it's a tough place to live. That's Castro bouncing around inside the snake, looking for new angles. He's getting no paint incoming. There is a mini temple on the Dorito side for All-Stars, whose job ostensibly is to lock onto him, but there's really no shot. Castro's kind of free to do what he wants here. All-Stars take the opportunity to slide up into D3. Now the D50. That's a huge move. Clock is now ticking for Castro. He's got to do some damage quick. He sees it, though. Nice move. That might have been the point. That might have been the move that just saved this point for Collision. All-Star in that 50 brick over on the Dorito side was primed to do a lot of damage. Castro's communication came in. He saw it, heard about it, slid around forward, took him out. All-Star's going to attempt to refill it. It's not going to work. I believe that leaves Justice, All-Star in the mini brick, and Snake 1. Castro has 2 players as backup. Yeah, there you go. Casey's going to concede out of it. This is a tough situation for them. They got a minute 45 to try to come back 2 points. While possible, it's difficult. Certainly it's possible to pull off a 1-minute point on this field, but to do that twice, and to do that twice in less than 1 minute, that's a lot to ask. Woo. All right, well, thanks to one of our sponsors, BKI Paintball. BKI Paintball is both an online university where you can learn about how to read fields, how to be a better gunfighter. Also, they have developmental camps each summer. It takes place around the country, Texas and Massachusetts. Brings in a lot of pro players to coach. Go check them out, BKI Paintball. Jesters on your left, down by 1 point, 7.5. No time to panic yet. Just go out there, play your point. For TIKIS Totem, it's not time to go into clock grind mode yet. Just play a clean game. Jesters, big run up the middle. Also an attempt to run of the snake does not work for the Jesters. They're going to drop to 4 bodies immediately. Control breakout for Totems. They are into the snake now. Jesters pushing that Dorito side. Totem losing a player up the middle, losing their snake mini temple. However, for Totem, they're at this 50. He's going to turn, immediately blow up that other mini temple. He's not aware, but there is a Jester player at the stand-up wedge of the 50. It's going to put him in danger. Devin knows about it now. Lots of Totem players walking off. The ball is now in the court of Devin to try to make something happen here. Takes out the home. Oh, he's going to run in the open unless he gets incredibly lucky with a shot. That's probably going to, it does go to the Jester. Just bad timing. Great little drop back by the Jester player to catch Devin on the run. For Jesters, that's going to allow them to tie it up with probably about 6 minutes on the clock. 2 Jesters alive. Getting the check. Never good when the ref is pausing on a check. Looks like the ref might be calling for backup on this one. His chin strap is undone. I hope that's not what he's about to get called on. No, they're going to approve the point. I suspect he's getting a warning. Yeah, he's getting a warning. Chin strap is a rule in the book where you have to have your chin strap on. It is mostly for the player safety. There's no playing advantage, of course, so it's not like that had a role in them winning the point. Internet, calm down. All right, Collision versus All-Stars. All-Stars have a hell of a hill to climb here. 2 points in under 2 minutes is a lot to ask.
20 seconds.
I suspect you're going to see an aggressive break, but not a crazy break from All-Stars. I suspect if they're able to win this point, then you're going to see a crazy breakout. For Collision, survive the opening 5 or 10 seconds, set up your lanes, lock the field down. Collision do exactly that. Spread the field wide. They're into the Snake Tower. All-Stars up the middle. 5 alive, both teams. We're now at 1:30. All-Stars have got to show some urgency here. Go into the Snake, now up the middle. That standing wedge at about the 40-yard line is now occupied for All-Stars. No, he's using the mini can. Snake Tower backing him up. He's now into the 50 standing wedge over here on the left. The world got a little bit too small for the Collision player in that Snake Tower. He's going to take a walk. However, the clock is now at 60 seconds. The match is slipping away for All-Stars. Even with a win this point, too much clock has been lost. And they're going to lose their Snake player. No penalty, though. We're now under a minute. Every second ticking by weighs in the favor of Collision. All-Stars pushing up the middle, crossing the 50 into the other team's wedge. Now attempt to make a run through. That's going to be a difficult proposition with the Dorito Hot. It does not work. Second attempt up to the other team's tower in the middle. We are now under 30 seconds. Another player lost. However, it's a trade. Number 3 is going to fight it out with these 2 mini temples. We're now at about 15 seconds. Collision only has to lock it up. That's it. That went exactly Collision's way. Every part of that went for them, not only chopping up bodies, but killing that clock. And that is it. Collision is going to move on. For All-Stars, their Sunday comes to an end. Their weekend comes to an end. Just couldn't get it done there. That was a lot to ask out of them for 2 points in under 2 minutes. The odds were not for them. So we are now into X-Ball. TIKIS Totem versus Jesters. We've got about 6.5 on the clock, tied up at 3-3. We'll take another opportunity to thank one of our sponsors. That's Ballsack. Their 2.0 pod filler has just come out. We have one in the booth here at the Semi-Pro. We've shown it off to you this weekend. Holds about a case of paint, waterproof, comes with a bag cutter. Can be hung by its strap. It's a really cool product, actually. I'm going to try to steal this one before the weekend's over.
10 seconds.
In a way, this is almost like an overtime point. Both teams have to be relatively conservative here. Do not want to risk this one. Totem, the more aggressive, they go up the middle trying to take that left standing wedge. It does not work. He gets chopped up. 4 Totem players left alive. 4 Totems left alive for 4 players left alive for Jesters. Totem now pushing out to that D1. Jesters drop another body. Totem into that Dorito 50. The Jesters world is about to get rocked by that Dorito 50 if they're not careful. It's too late. The damage is done, and that's going to be it. Jesters coach needs to towel out of this one. He's got to save some clock. That is Tim Trentacosta of the Jesters. Clock is still rolling down. Jesters choose not to towel out of it. TQ Totems are taking this gift. They're just hanging out. You got a direct line of sight between the Jesters pit and TQ Totem. There it is. They towel out with about 5 minutes left on the clock. Still plenty of time. It's only 1 point differential. We're now in X-Ball. This is the only match remaining. Collision moving on. And we have Kansas City ALLSTARS going home from the first part of this match, leaving just the Jesters and TIKIS to finish it out. 5 minutes on the clock, down by a point for the Jesters. Jesters taking the field. All right, let's talk coaching strategies at this point, right? So, Jesters down by a point. With 5 minutes on the clock, they don't have to get stupid yet. If they lose another point, then they start having to pull out game plans that get aggressive enough that it's risky on each breakout. For Totem, you're up by only 1 point. There's 5 in the clock. This match is certainly not put away yet. I would say that you don't change much at all. I think teams that go on the defensive are at a disadvantage. So if I'm the Totem coach, I'm just going to go ahead and tell my guys, here's a game plan that's, say, moderately aggressive. We're going to push, say, Snake or Dorito, and just let those boys roll out there, do what they can do. Jester's going to double up the middle, both towers. Totem with a little bit more conservative breakout, 5 alive, both sides. Totem player, again, playing that little shadow pocket out in the open behind the Snake Tower. It is terrifying to watch from the sidelines, but it is relatively safe. Middle tower for Jesters, getting a check. He's called clean. No, he's out. That's one of the many number 55 jerseys out there right now. Mazelewski clones. Big move into that Dorito 50. That's Alex Nieder. He's going to do some work here in the middle, blowing up towers. Blowing up the home. If I'm the coach of Jesters, I got to start thinking about clock now. You're about to be down by 2 points, and we're approaching the 4-minute mark. But not all hope is lost. It might be a little bit aggressive to towel out of this one, but you're going to need to see something now. And Bispo's going to drop back, and he's going to get clipped. Now you got to towel out. Totem is going to take this one. A little bit of conversation on the field between the Totem and the last Jester player. There you go. There's the button. Assuming a clean hang, Totems are going to go up 5-3. 3.5 minutes on the clock for Jesters. Bad situation to be in. Now time is an issue. And unfortunately at this level, when the other team knows what you have to do, which is attack, they can do a lot of game plans to set up cross shots, look for running lanes, and make your life very difficult if they know you have to run through them. All right, we're going to play If I Was the Coach. And nobody wants me as the coach, but if you're the Jesters coach, right, you're put in a situation with about 3.5 minutes on the clock. You need 2 points. You're going to have to attack. Obviously, you can't have your guys setting up their feet for very long, or it's not going to work out clockwise. For attacking on this field, if you can get out to the Dorito, if you get a player out there, it's not a hard bump to get up to the D50 and do a lot of damage. But getting to that first D1 is tough. So that's option one. Getting to the snake on the run out is also extremely difficult on this field. That leaves probably a push up the middle. So it's a relatively safe run up the middle. It's not safe to live there, but it's safe to get there. Four alive now for Totem. Good early news for Jesters. Jesters take the snake tower. Relatively conservative breakout otherwise. Now it's Tiki doing the push. They're into the D2, getting a check. Jesters now into D1 themselves. Jesters going to lose their player up the middle. Unfortunately for Tiki, 2 players peeling off. Now there's a major. Devin's going to get blown up. This point is going to be the Jesters. I'm not sure whether that was a major or an inadvertent, a minor with an inadvertent red flag thrown. Either way, Jesters going to win this one. That is what they needed with a lot of time left on the clock. There it is. That could not have gone better for the Jesters. Not only they get the point, but they saved a lot of time, 2.5 minutes. Ironically, this is going to be a more difficult decision for the Totem coach, what to do here. Killing 2.5 minutes, this field is not conducive to killing a full 2.5 minutes, grinding it off. It's not impossible, but it's a tough ask. Frankly, all teams, especially at semi-pro level, are better on the attack than on the defense. Not many teams can buck that trend, so a little bit advantage to the attacking team. So again, if you're the Totems coach, where do you go here? Do you go with a defensive plan trying to kill clock, or do you send your boys out with a game plan to try to win it? Tough call. Well, if you have a tough call in your life, check out Paintball for Purpose, led by Tammy Adamson. They're trying to help anybody in the paintball community or any friends of the paintball community. If you need help in your personal life, professional life, counseling, just somebody to talk to, check them out, Paintball for Purpose. Thank you, Tammy Adamson, for setting up that organization. Boy, playoff Sunday, these teams are awful casual getting to the box. I would be so nervous I'd be racing the box, even with 40 seconds on the clock. All right, Jesters on the left. Their mission is clear. 1 point, 2.5 minutes. Jesters going to lose their Dorito runner. 4 alive, 5 alive for Tiki over here. Now 4 alive for Tiki, losing their home player. Tiki in a bit of a pocket play. They are up the middle of that Snake Tower. Snake Tower is choosing to stay on the Dorito side to control that movement. Good news for him. Dorito side runner has already been killed for the Jesters. Jesters are going to use this Snake Tower to try to control entry into the Snake, preventing the Tiki Totem mini temple from making that bounce. This Snake Tower is one of the most important bunkers on the field. It has multiple jobs it can do and as a launching point for up the middle action. Jesters are going to lose their mini temple, which is their best chance for getting into the Snake. Big run up the sideline by Totem. They're now into both 50s, I believe. Going to get a check over there on the Dorito side. This tower in the middle for Jesters is in a ton of trouble. If you're the coach of the Jesters, well, I'm talking a lot about towels today, it might be time to towel out of this one. There it is. Oh, the situation went from bad to much, much worse for the Jesters. They're going to go down by 2 points with about a minute 16 on the clock. This should be impossible, right? So any other sport, if the clock and the score forces your team into a certain course of action, the other coach knows that your team has to go do a thing. They have to run a certain route on a pass play or whatever. That should be almost impossible to accomplish. The defense should be able to set up and stop it. Paintball is weird, though. Paintball, I've seen a lot of all-out rushes up the middle of the field that absolutely should not work when the other coach knows it's coming, all the players knows it's coming, and somehow the win percentage of it, well, certainly not 100%, don't get me wrong, it's a lot higher than what it should be. So it is extremely possible for the Jesters to put together two crazy kind of rush up the middle plays and pull off at least a tie and push it to overtime. The odds are bad, but the odds aren't zero, and that's what makes the sport kind of interesting, especially on a Sunday, getting to watch this kind of stuff. Yeah. Also, thanks to PittsburghPaintballSupply.com, dropping a new set of special edition Mastodon goggles. If you have a chance, go check them out, see if any are left. All right, there's going to be a timeout called. Gives a little more time for both coaches to sharpen the game plan. For Totem, I think that, again, that game plan is pretty simple. As a coach, 90% what the situation is telling you is set your guys up in defensive positions, especially to shoot the run-through lanes, catch them there, especially if you can catch some penalties while they're doing it. For the Jesters, you got to go. If you see any Jesters players set their feet underneath them in this point, they're essentially conceding the match. I want to see all the Jesters moving forward, even if it's dumb bumps, even if it's crazy running through through lanes. You don't really have a choice. All right, this is another interesting thing. Look at how many pods they're going out with, right? That tells you a bit about what the coach is thinking for each team. So for TIKIS, you can see their boys are loaded up with pods. They expect a defensive point, cross it up, grind it out. They're going to send their boys out there with everything. You're going to see a lot less pods in the back of the Jesters. So that's probably more than I'd even send them out with, maybe 2 or 3 apiece. Here we go. Totem is doubled up at home. An initial run-through attempt by the Jesters. They're going to cross the 50. Doesn't work, but I love it. There we go. Jesters up into that Dorito. First Totem player peeling off. Jesters now up to the middle. We're at the minute mark. Totem re-spreading it out over here. Good movement by the Jesters. They're up across the 50. Now crossing the 50. That's number 23. He's going to get blown up. He's going to take the tower with him. And a minor. Unfortunately, I think the minor's going to go against the Jesters. That's a risk you take with those kind of run-throughs, but in the game situation, you have no choice but to take those risks. I think Bispo is going to pay for that penalty with his life. For Totem, that should lock it up. We're now at 23 seconds. That's going to be it. Totem is going to win this match. Jesters came in on a wild card bid with a 2-2 record yesterday. Unfortunately for them, their day is over. Their weekend is over. They're going to go home. Congratulations to TIKIS Totem. Congratulations to LA Collision and TIKIS Totem. You're moving on. Your Sunday is not over. The dream is still alive. Thank you so much for joining us here on Day 3 NXL action here in Tampa Bay. You're watching the best teams in semi-pro go at it. In a few hours, you're going to watch the best teams in WNXL go at it. Until then, take a little break. Come back to us in a couple minutes. We got more action. Thank you.